Let's go to the hotline and bring in the new head coach of the Leander Lions. We are joined by Coach Kris Price. Coach, how are you?
I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm doing wonderful. First and foremost, congratulations on the new gig. I'm really interested to hear from you. You moved from the Keller defensive coordinator position down to Leander. Why was this job such a good fit for you?
I think if you look at demographics and things like that, you'll see some similarities between Keller and Leander. The attitude of the community, the work ethic of the community is something that I'm very excited about. It kind of reminds me of places that I've been and had a little success. So there are a lot of things that just kind of fit together well, and a lot of things that match my personality that made Leander a really, really good fit for me.
You're leaving the job there at Keller, where you were the defensive coordinator for what was really an exceptional defense there under head coach Carl Strelo. I'm really interested, for Leander fans who are listening, what kind of style of defense can you expect to see from your Lions?
Well, we're going to be pretty multiple. I think that some of the things that I've been a part of in the past that created some high pressure situations for us and allowed us to create some turnovers and some big plays defensively have stemmed from being pretty multiple and making it difficult for young quarterbacks and offensive coordinators to read exactly what we were doing and some of the coverage concepts that we were in. So those are things that I plan on bringing with me, and with the kids that we have here, I think we can do some really, really cool things defensively because we have a lot of athletic kids that work really, really hard. So I'm excited about what we're going to see here this upcoming season.
You got hired a couple of weeks ago. I'm interested to hear. Have you had an opportunity to chat with your new team, and if so, what was your message to them?
I have spoken with the kids in the program as well as the coaches, and I was excited when I arrived in Leander to see how hard they were working in the weight room and during our boot camp phase. And my message was really simple: the attitude and the work ethic that they already were bringing to the table. We were going to have to ramp that up even more if we were going to be successful this year. And over the last couple of days since I've been here, I've seen that attitude take place. They're working so incredibly hard in the weight room and in our boot camp phase. I feel really good about where we are right now.
We're talking with Kris Price, the new head coach of the Leander Lions here on Texas Football Today. Get involved in the conversation, hashtag TF Today. Coach, there's no real good way to sugarcoat it. You're taking over a program that's in need of a jolt. It's coming off of a 1-9 season. Leander hasn't had the kind of success that they've become accustomed to in the past. What is it going to take, from your perspective, to give them that jolt, to get them over the top, to get them to the point where they are back competitive and competing for district championships?
Like I've stated, I think the kids are kind of on their way right now. I think the attitude that you take into off season dictates a lot in terms of how your season is going to turn out. Their attitude is so high. They're so positive and so intense right now. I see a lot of good things happening for us. We obviously want to get as many kids as we can involved in the program. We talked about being multiple on defense. We're going to have to be creative offensively and creative on special teams. So we have some work to do, but that work becomes a lot easier if you take the right attitude and the right mindset into it.
The other thing, there is another side of the ball. You're the defensive guy, but at the same time, we can certainly expect some offensive firepower from these Leander Lions as well. From an offensive perspective, what can we expect to see from your Lions?
Well, as we kind of move into our spring ball phase here in a few weeks, we're going to look at the kids and place them in a position to be successful. They're transitioning out of a flex bone, which they were in last year, and so there are going to be some things that we have to adjust in terms of how we look offensively. But they have a great foundation on some of those big skills. Playing with high intensity, blocking at the point of attack. They've done some of those things pretty well here in the last couple of years, and so we're just going to build on that and how that looks offensively. will change a little bit, but we'll put our kids in the best position to be successful.
So it's safe to say that there's not one particular scheme that you're committed to. You're going to kind of see the kids and what you've got and just try to put them in a position that they can succeed.
Absolutely. Watching the kids in some of our football skills and drills and things like that over the next several weeks will dictate a lot in terms of how we look offensively and defensively. I've been pretty flexible as a defensive coordinator, and we've been pretty successful doing things that way. There's no reason that you can't be flexible offensively and in your special teams. So that's the attitude I'm going to bring into it, and I think the kids are ready to match that.
We're talking with Kris Price, the new head coach of the Leander Lions here in Texas football today. Get involved in the conversation, hashtag TF today. Coach, you're a guy who's been a long-time assistant, and you've bounced around. You've been at Colleyville Heritage, Fort Worth Dunbar, you were at Bernie, you were at Mejia, most recently at Keller. You're a guy whose name we've heard come up a lot in connection with a lot of jobs. You're one of the more well thought of assistants in the state, and we hear all the time that coaches are basically just a mishmash of all the guys that they've coached with. From the I'm sure your phone's been blowing up over the past couple of weeks. What advice have you gotten from your former head coaches, your former colleagues as you head into this job?
I've gotten a lot of great advice. I've worked for a lot of really awesome guys, Coach Fuller, Coach Strelo, Coach Dormady, and all of the guys that I've worked with have been very influential on me. Probably the best advice I've received is make sure your phone is charged.
That's a good one, yeah.
Yeah, so that part was very accurate. I didn't follow it the first night, and that battery was pretty dead.
Finally, Coach, I want to ask you a little bit about the situation you're stepping into. We talked a little bit about Leander, but you're going into a bear of a district too. District 13 6A is tough. Obviously, Vandergrift at the top, Cedar Ridge, Hendrickson always very good. You're in a part of the state that is known for for putting out good teams, and you're in a district that's going to challenge you. From your perspective, when you go to your team and you show them the schedule. How much of it is going to be laying out for them the challenge that's ahead for them?
Our focus is not going to be on anybody except for ourselves. We're going to focus on improving ourselves, day in and day out. And I think if our attitude is about making Leander better, then when we get to some of those tough teams in the district, we'll have opportunities to play well against them. So, yeah, there's a lot of great teams in this area and in this region, but our focus can't be on that, especially right now in this off-season period. We have to focus on getting ourselves to a point where we feel good about what we're doing. And that's our focus. Those games are going to be hard fought in the fall, but it's not fall yet. Let's take care of off-season and make sure that we're doing everything we can to improve.
He is Kris Price. He is the new head coach of the Leander Lions. Follow him on Twitter at CoachPrice03. Coach, really appreciate your time. Congratulations again on the new gig, and go charge your phone.
Yes, sir, I will. Thank you, sir. Appreciate it, guys.
There he goes, Kris Price, the head coach of the Leander Lions. Excited for him, and again, I really do mean that. That's a name that we've heard for years and years and years, connected with jobs. A very well thought of assistant in the DFW Metroplex, under Colleyville Heritage, with Mike Fuller and then Carl Strelo at Keller, and you saw what they did. The Keller defense this year was really, really exceptional, in large part due to Coach Price. So excited to see what they can do at Leander. Leander's
it's a tough man.
It's a program that's I tried to phrase it in a nice way. It's stuck in the mud.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
It's one of those schools that's been ripped apart by new schools being built, because like Cedar Park, Vandergrift, you mentioned those schools in that Leander area. It's such a fast-growing area that the city high school, Leander High School, was just got picked apart by all the feeder middle schools feeding outside.
It would be very cool to see them get back in it, and excited to see what Coach Price does down there. Appreciate him taking a little bit of time to chat with us.